Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Dirt Green Steel. So, this morning we done some serious investigation on the mysterious noise in a Gleaner, and we discovered that the variable speed pulley, the adjustable pulley up behind the drive tire for the cylinder speed, is fairly loose. So, it's finally showed its ugly head of where the problem is. So I'm just going to run it back to the shop because I'll have to pull that drive tire off, and the easiest way to do it's with the Bobcat there at the shop, and all the tools are there, and I'm not too far from the shop. So thought just run it back to the shop, do it inside, that way the wind's not blowing the dust in my face and everything else. Just make it easier, safer. I can jack the combine up safely, get it blocked up, and be able to work on it. So, kind of puts the halt on picking corn today with the Gleaner, but we still got the 1660 going, and if the weather stays fit, we're going to go back to cutting some soybeans. So, if I run it home, I can set it back up for cutting soybeans, and I'll just stay towards home cutting beans, try to finish up what we've got there. And then Wednesday we'll be running the S67 with that 30-foot MacDon head on it. So we'll be cutting beans with it also. So maybe we can make a final push and just finish mowing off our 200 acres of soybeans and be done with them. And then we'll return full force with both combines back to corn. So there will be more corn picking with the Gleaner. Just got to fix this. Them bearings are crucial. And it's annoying running it that way because it's very loud in the cab. So I'm gonna head back to the shop. We'll get some video when we get back to the shop, start tearing her down and getting her fixed. Well, we got the Gleaner here at home in the shop. A little bit of tight fit up this far with the garage door opener right above it, but it works. So I wanted to bring it this far in order to bring the Bobcat in through the door and get the drive tire off, because without Dad's strength here, it's a little tough for me to get these tires off myself. Really helps with two people, but he's running a grain cart, so I told him, well, I said, Bobcat's at home, you stay here, run the grain cart, keep the operation going, and I'll go home and see what I can get tore apart on this all by myself. And with Bobcat here, I can do it all by myself. It's no big deal. I'll just take lug nuts off and get it jacked up, take the lug nuts off, bring the forks in, pick it up, back up, and go out the door with it. So we'll get this tire knocked off, and then we'll be able to get into that variable speed pulley right there, get that one off. A couple guys told me that would probably be the issue, either this one or the one back farther, the clutch one, but this is the one that's got the movement in it. So I think I'd rather take this one off anyways, because once you get drive tire out of the way, it looks to be fairly simple. The other one, you got the tailings elevator to deal with and everything else. So should be a pretty simple deal. It don't look too complicated. So we get started on this, get this off, and we'll see what we got. Okay, tires off out of the way. Now we can proceed with tearing the rest of it apart. So far in the teardown process, I've taken this black cover off that covers the chain that adjusts the variable speed down here. And I pulled the chain off, took the splicer link out, got the chain off out of the way. And there's just 4 carriage bolts that hold that cover on, and there's a bracket that slips over this hub like so, and that's what the cover bolts to. So just pull that off, pull your chain off, and now that pulley's exposed. So now we're going to get the belt loosened up, get the belt off out of the way, and then we'll proceed with tearing that pulley apart. So I've got my drive belt off. I lowered this pulley down, loosen this up, run this adjustment down, knock that down, take this sprocket, open this pulley up, and then you'll be able to roll that belt right off of it. This works similar to the variable speed adjustment on the rotor on the 1660 case combine. Same principle, just on those, the electric motor turns this, and it tightens or loosens it up. So now we got that belt off, we're going to go ahead and we're going to release the tension on this idler, and that'll release the belt tension on the belt for the actual cylinder drive. And we do this by turning this adjustment right here. So I'm going to grab a wrench and get that loosened up. Okay, so we got our cylinder drive belt off, and we got our pulley fully free. There's nothing in the way now. I can definitely tell the bearings are junk in it. I mean, I can get a little movement out. It's hard for me to show it on camera, but it's got movement. It's not right. So, well, it's just the pulley itself. But I'm going to go ahead and pull it off because it's not right. So there's, to the guys out there that said take the belts completely off, good pointer, as I took them completely off, and now I really get movement out of it. Before I was getting very, very little, but now with no belts on it, it's very evident that that's the issue. This one back here, it's still good and solid. I mean, I don't see nothing wrong with it. Guys were asking about the fan. If I checked it, fan all looks good. Everything checks out good there. I spin the cylinder. Everything sounds good there other than the auger for the return, for the tailings. I mean, it makes a little noise, but I mean, the cylinder all sounds quiet. So here's the issue. Oh. Yeah, so we need to fix that. So we're going to get that fixed. I am now starting to take this apart the way I think it comes apart. This bolt right here is reverse thread. So left hand threads. Yeah, reverse, whatever. So to get to this, you have to take this cap off. Kind of just like a wheel bearing cap. Take this off, take this out, and then that'll allow this to thread off. Thread that off, and then you can pull that pulley off. So I don't think I need to do the whole thing on video, but I'll get this off and I'll show you some more. Now that we have that off, what I done was after I threaded this off, I pulled this right off. There's a bearing here, there's a seal here. So we're going to replace those while we're in here. And I'm going to get some rags and clean all this up and see how all that comes apart. I'm sure it looks pretty simple to come apart, so let me get that cleaned up. Okay, so in the process of taking this apart, I got a little ahead of myself. I, for some reason, decided to take the snap ring out that holds this bearing in. You don't have to take that off to get this off. So what I done was I stuck just a crowbar behind the pulley, and I pried against this square tube spot on the wall of the combine, and I was able to pry this pulley out, and look what I found back here. Junk bearing. Looks like we caught it in time though, so it's totally fixable. So I'm going to get this pulley off on the floor. I'm going to replace this bearing. I'm going to replace the bearing in there, and I'm definitely going to replace that bearing because that bearing's junk. So it's actually a fairly simple job. It hasn't been too bad so far, knock on wood. If I could get inside the elevator to knock on the wood slides in there, I would. I don't have a wood tensioning block close to knock on. There's one up there, so I can pretend to knock on it. But knock on wood, everything's been simple so far. So hopefully Napa has these bearings and we'll be able to put her back together and get her back to the field. So I'm going to get this finished the rest of the way off. Can't do it one-handed. And we'll see what we got once we get that half of the pulley off. I got the other half of that pulley out of the way. Now we can really see what's going on in here, and it's bad. But shaft's all good. Nothing wrong with the shaft. It looks like that when I grease it, it's not getting grease into where it needs to get. So I'm going to investigate that when I change all this, because we're going to have to fix that. So, but yeah, everything's savable. Just bearings. So luckily, no catastrophic failure. Everything's fixable. I don't need to go get parts, just bearings and seals, and it's a good day. So let's see what we can do with all this. I think I'll take that pulley off. Looks like if I take that off, I can get to that bearing easier. So I don't know. I'll play with it and see what I got going on here. All I have is a parts book on this machine. I don't have a technical manual or anything that shows how to rebuild all this. So, but I've been around long enough that it's pretty self-explanatory once I tear it apart and look at it. I kind of got a good idea how it works, so don't really need a tech manual. So I'm going to get at it and see if I can't get her fixed. So I got the bearing race and everything off of here, and just so happens that it spun, so it smeared the numbers off the back of it. So now I'm going to have to take it to Napa and see if they can measure it up and get me the right bearing. Then came over here, took the 4 bolts out of here, knocked this hub out of these pulleys, and now I'm going to take it over to the bench, drive the bearing races out, get everything, well, that bearing too, get that one out, and then I'll get the bearing races out of there and seals, and we'll be able to go see if we can get parts. So I got everything tore apart, all the bearing races and seals out of everything. Luckily, I said that the inside bearing spun a little bit and wore the numbers off. Well, luckily, the outside bearing and race are the exact same thing as the inside bearing and race. And this bearing is the one out of here. So, and also, the inside seal is the same as the outside seal for this bearing. So, I'm going to run to town and see what I can come up with. It's pretty nice that they use the same bearing in and out. That way, if you do lose the numbers on one, at least the outside one's still good. So I'm pretty happy about that. So hopefully if they have all these bearings, I can get this all put back together today. The only thing is these shields, I got them a little beat up when I was trying to knock the races out. So I don't know. I think I can straighten the other one out. This one's not too bad, but it's not good. So I'm going to see if by chance Napa might have those. So we'll see. But I'm going to run to town now and see if I can get them. Well, I just got back from Napa. I got good news. I got all 3 bearings that I need. The 2 bearing races, the 2 bearings, and the 1 big sealed roller bearing. But the seals are turning out to be kind of difficult. These would take a couple weeks to get and to have exactly like this. But they found a wheel seal, like a truck wheel seal, that's pretty much the same thing, except it's about a 1/2 inch wide here. So after looking things over, I think I can still use it. So I told him, go ahead and get it coming. Worst comes to worst, it won't work. But if it does work, we'll be able to put all this back together tomorrow. Actually, I'm going to start putting it back together later today. But as of right now, I'm going to go run 2 loads of corn in for Dad so he can keep picking. So it makes better sense for me to go drive truck right now than it is to finish working on this as of right now. So I'm going to go do that, and we'll get those seals tomorrow, and hopefully we can get it all thrown back together. But at least the point of this video was we got to tear it all down, and we got to figure out what the noise was, and found out it's an easy fix. It's really wasn't nothing to it, really. Actually, just the hardest part was probably getting the tire off. I could have done it out in the field, but it just seemed at the time easier just to run it back to the shop and do it inside the shop in the warm and out of the wind. But this could be totally done out in the field. If you got a service truck with tools or a good amount of tools and a pickup, could have been done outside, no problem. In fact, if it was nicer out, I would have probably done it outside. Just hauled the Bobcat down there and pulled the wheel off down there. Just had dad strength help me get it off. But anyways, if you like this episode of Dirt Grain Steel, give me a like and subscribe. I can't talk very well today. I would greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on the next one. And thank you to all the guys in the comments that commented different things to try to help me find this problem. I really appreciate it. So thank you a lot.